Two countries, two continents, two different narratives, and yet one striking similarity. There's sudden change of stance as far as India is concerned. We are talking about Canada and the Maldives, two countries that have had tense moments with India recently, yet there seems to be a shift. Both countries now seem to be extending an olive branch to New Delhi. So what really caused this? How did we reach here? Let's break this down for you. And let's start off with Canada. You see, over the last year, Canada and India have been embroiled in a diplomatic row. At the heart of this was the killing of Khalistan separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Canadian citizen who was one of the most wanted terrorists in India. When the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau suggested that Indian agents might have been involved in his killing, relations between the two countries nosedived. India flatly denied the allegations, terming them absurd and baseless. And from there, the spiral continued. Trade talks between the two sides were shelved. The tensions rippled through diplomatic channels. Fast forward now to the present. As per reports, Canada's Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, David Morrison, reaffirmed Canada's commitment to India's territorial integrity, stating that there is only one India and that the country's sovereignty must be respected. But why is Canada now suddenly saying that? The stakes, perhaps, are simply too high. For Canada, the message appears to be clear. It is time to rebuild bridges. Morrison's statement reportedly came before the Foreign Interference Commission in Ottawa. Are his statements about India's territorial integrity a signal that Canada wants to reset the relationship? Morrison reportedly also admitted that some of the Khalistani activities may be awful. Was that a calculated move or a sign that Ottawa is trying to smooth things over? Or is this about damage control? You see, as per experts, Canada perhaps knows that a prolonged rift with India will only hurt its own interests. And let's just shift focus to the Maldives now. Just last year, remember, relations between India and the Maldives were tense. The India Out campaign led by President Mohamed Muizzu was making headlines. Muizzu opposed Indian military presence in the Maldives, even going so far as to request the removal of the Indian military personnel stationed there. As per reports, it seemed like the Maldives was leaning more towards China, attempting to distance itself from India. And now, Muizzu, on his first official bilateral visit to India on Sunday, spoke positively about the relationship between the two sides. As per reports, he described India as a valued partner and friend. Just months ago, Muizzu was seen as a pro-China leader, and now he is talking about strengthening ties with India. So what's behind this sudden change of heart? You see, the island nation is also dependent on Indian tourists for a significant portion of its economy, and Muizzu's statement seemed designed to rebuild the economic ties that took a hit during the diplomatic row. As per reports, his invitation for Indian tourists to return is a clear sign that the Maldives understands the importance of maintaining a strong relationship with India. In his statements, Muizzu went even further, describing the relationship between the two countries as being intertwined like the roots of a tree. The symbolism here is unmistakable. You see, this shift is not just about sentiment, it's about strategy. As Muizzu himself reportedly admitted, while the Maldives seeks to diversify its international relations, it will not do so at the expense of India. The India Out rhetoric, which once seemed central to Muizzu's political agenda, is now being downplayed. So what does all of this mean for India? What does that tell us? Both Canada and the Maldives perhaps have come to realize that India's influence is something that they cannot afford to overlook. The message is clear. India is a force to be reckoned with, and strengthening ties with it is no longer optional. It is a necessity. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.